Hey everybody, I'm going to be going over the pieces of scuba equipment that you'll be using while diving, especially here in California. First piece is going to be your wetsuit. In my case, I went with a two-piece. You can also use a one-piece wetsuit as well. There are two variations of wetsuit. There's a jersey lining, which is where you have fabric on the inside. And then in my case, I went with a open cell, which has no jersey lining on the inside. And for me, I chose this because it keeps me warm. Then you have your dive mask, which is a critical piece of equipment, especially if you want to be able to see where you're going underwater. And then for California, because it's so cold here, you want to keep your hands warm, so you dive with a nice thick pair of gloves. These are going to be your 5mm. Then we move over here to our boots. And especially here in California, there's a lot of shore diving, so you want to get a nice thick lug sole to help you get in and out of the water, especially when you're on the sand or if you're dealing with a rocky shoal. This way you don't stub your toe. You have your fins here. You can either go with a put together fin like this or a split fin, which is going to be a bit easier on your ankles and allows for a slower dive. This gives you more propulsion underwater, being a one-piece unit here. Then you're going to have your dive weights. Now, the importance of your dive weights are to help you get under the water, especially when you're diving with all this thick gear that adds buoyancy to you. And depending on your body type and your weight, you're going to be needing more or less weight. And these are just lead shot that's in the weight. They're in the bags. And finally, here's your actual scuba device. This is what you're going to be diving with, what allows you to breathe and what allows you to control your buoyancy. So right here is your BCD, your buoyancy compensator device, which adds air or decreases air depending on how deep you need to go and how far off the bottom you want to stay. You have your regulator, which allows you to breathe. You have your octopus, which ideally you'll never have to use, but this is what you give your buddy if they run out of air. And you have your inflator hose, which allows you to inflate or deflate your PC depending on how much buoyancy you need underwater. And I always like to have a board with me to allow me to effectively communicate because you can't speak underwater. Now this is all hooked up to your scuba tank, which is this bad boy here. And in order to breathe, what we do is we turn on the tank, and once that's open, we now have air. Now this is on-demand air, which means you actually have to suck in and breathe out in order to get air to you. And finally, to make sure that you know how much oxygen, or well, air you have, I have a dive computer which links up to this air tank here, and then you can read your pressure and your dive depth in whatever direction you're going into. Anyways, I hope this was very informational. Enjoy.